Hey, how's it going? Dang, my
Good.
hair
How are
is all
you?
over the place. Got some static. Uh, I'm doing well. How about you? Yeah, doing well.
Awesome. Thank you for hopping on today. So, this is Career Crisis in 10. So, this is where we are interviewing people who have navigated some difficult situations, whether it's through a recession, getting laid off, any career changes, and even pandemics now. Um, and so this is the second one of this series. So thank you for being on it. So this is where where I would like to interview you on some maybe tricky times you've had, so then you can kind of show us how it's done, how you've navigated through that. And
Okay.
so, yeah, welcome everybody. I'm here today with Forrest. And to kick this off, the first question I want to ask is, what did you study and where did you go to school?
So I studied biomedical engineering and minored in entrepreneurship at the University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Okay, awesome. And so when you graduated, and feel free to share or not share when you graduated, but how was the job market and what was your first job coming out of college?
Yeah, so I graduated in 2018, and so biomedical engineering is very interesting. So in theory, biomedical engineering is very high paying, and it can be unless you're in California.
Mhm.
There the prices are pretty low, but due to the 2008 financial crisis, there has been this huge surge in terms of like qualifications needed to get what can seem like entry. So even though we had the skills and all, there weren't really a lot of biomedical engineering jobs available. Uh, Going on to that was necessary in order to even get a job in the first place. For me, it was never really about getting a job. The only reason why I would have had a job would be so that I could continue working on my startup.
Okay.
And so I've been working on that since 2013.
Mhm. So what made you choose the startup route versus maybe going corporate or finding a job after college?
I don't think it was really a question of like, do I start a company or do I work for another company? It was really more about what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was create affordable healthcare. Affordable medical devices help others. And quite frankly, you really don't have the opportunity to do that in a corporate environment. If
Mhm.
that was an opportunity, I think that there's a very real possibility that that's what I would have taken.
Okay. And then so was the transition from academia to industry difficult, or how did you navigate that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was awful. I mean, it really
Okay.
was. So I wasn't able. So I had founded a makerspace at UAB. So I was running that, but it wasn't making enough money. I wasn't getting paid enough. I think I was getting paid like 10 or 12. Maybe, I think maybe $15 an hour.
Okay.
And then but it wasn't full time, or was it? It doesn't matter. So I had to have two jobs in
Hmm.
addition to trying to get my company off the ground because I wasn't able to raise money in enough time because it was basically I was in this between a rock and a hard place. It was a hardware company,
Hmm.
and I was like, I need money to show you that I can make the hardware. And they're like, we won't give you money until you can make the hardware.
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for a couple of years. And it was only after I was actually fortunate enough to raise $25,000 from a really nice woman here in Birmingham who just gave it to me actually. Um, and then I got the equipment, and it turns out we were right.
Hmm.
We started cooking, making devices, making knee braces.
That's awesome. So during those like difficult times where you weren't kind of sure if you were gonna be able to get the funding and situations like that, what did you do to kind of like keep yourself going?
Oh, listen, it is not. There was no like like a victory was getting out of the bed and
Hmm.
getting and working. Like it didn't matter if it was like 10 o'clock at night. I
Hmm.
had to get out of bed. I had to get to the office. But like mentally, I had to reconcile with the fact that I had depression. Like I had to acknowledge that in the first place. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's something I've had my entire life, and I've been kind of not really wanting to admit that.
Mm-hmm.
And so dealing with that, dealing with like this horrible chronic stress around like I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills the next day, you know, and then it was really just this kind of like slow grind of like getting it to where, okay, I don't know how I'm going to make it to tomorrow. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to make it till 2 days from now, 3 days from
Mm-hmm.
now. This was slow. This took like a year and a half. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, being chronically stressed about finances for that long, it really felt like it burned a part of my brain out. Like it was just like that is just something that, um, you know, I'm still aware of like the need to generate income and everything. But when it comes to stress relating to that, I've really gone through the worst of it.
Mm-hmm. And so, thank you for sharing that with me, by the way, with everybody. I think a lot of people can probably relate or find some solace in hearing that from you. Um, what would you say, and I guess going off of that is like something you did to like get yourself up out of bed or to like work through that stress? Like, how did you make it through that like year and a half of chronic stress due to like um finances?
There were no. It was just so at the end of the day, the motivating factor was it wasn't about what I wanted. It was about the problem that I wanted to solve was worth it, no matter how much it cost me personally. Um, Health, like being able to restore someone's ability to move, you know, like with the
Mm-hmm.
knee brace, for example. I had seen people and how, you know, I'd spent years researching to understanding like how this affects like all aspects of a person's quality of life and everything. And once you know like just how badly somebody is suffering and how there really isn't anybody coming to help. I mean, just because there are solutions on the market doesn't mean people are actually having their problem solved. I think that's a big thing in the healthcare industry that we have to reconcile with is just because they're, you know, we assume things work too easily.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so that was really it, is it didn't matter how much I personally suffered. It was more important that you know, I couldn't justify to myself um, that my comfort was worth more than the comfort of, you know, everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know is you know, that can be like, it's a little bit like Jesus-y, where it's just like, you know, martyrdom and all that. And I don't really want it I don't know if I can effectively convey it, but that was really
Mm-hmm.
the way
It's a good
I talk about
motivator.
it. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but the thing is the way we, you know, what are values?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they're a value that you have, then you're willing to pay a price for it.
Yeah.
And I think in these last 2 years, I've definitely developed a very strong sense of what my values are.
That's awesome. So I think I'll want to interview you again because I would love to hear like how you developed your values and kind of your journey from that. But as we wrap up here, seeing as you're like you've been in the startup scene for a while, what's like one piece of advice that you would give to beginning entrepreneurs?
Uh, it's the idea of I need. So for me, I thought when I first started that I needed $1 million in order to get like the first prototype of what I needed made.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very resistant to the idea. And in my mind, that was like me cutting costs. Um, really, really what I wish I had done is I had a 3D printer since 2014, and
Mm-hmm.
I could have made a prototype knee brace that demonstrated everything, but I refused to believe that it was capable of doing that. And I really did myself a disservice where I was refusing to acknowledge the capabilities of what was
Mm-hmm.
around me, what was already available to me, because I wanted something better, which was selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that, you know, if I had taken the time and actually gone through the testing and all further, and not focus so much on trying to raise money, I think I would have raised money sooner.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you again for being interviewed on Career Crisis in 10. It was super awesome getting to know you and a little bit of your story. And so if anybody watching has an interesting story that they'd want to share, just shoot us a DM, and we'll be posting this on Instagram, our YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so check us out on the social medias. Thanks, Forrest.
Thank you.